This time on Pole House Black Weekend Getaways, we conclude our visit to Watkins Woolen Mill State Park. We leave camp, head for home, and stop by Lexington Battlefield, and we cook something out of the Watkins Woolen Mill family cookbook.
I think they're done, hon.
Well,
We're back on the front porch.
yeah, but not because we don't have stuff to show you.
Yeah.
We had so much that we did that weekend that we went to Watkins Mill that we couldn't fit everything in. So we decided instead of doing 3 parts, we'd do 4.
Yeah, have a real long
But
video.
we didn't shoot out there what we cooked because we didn't cook anything. So we're going to cook on our front porch, but before we do, we want to show you what we saw in Lexington.
Yep, that was a way home from
Yes,
Watkins
that
Mill.
house was just
And
absolutely
it was
beautiful.
a fun, another state historic site here, there. In
Now the battlefield wasn't much to
Lexington.
see, but the house,
Yeah,
that house
so
was just beautiful.
We'll show you that, and then we'll come back with what we're going to cook. Be right back. Good morning.
Morning. Morning. It's a little cool out.
Sunday morning, and we got up before sunrise and drove over to the other side of the lake here at State Park. This is Williams Creek Lake.
Yeah, I
isn't it?
think that's what it
We're gonna
is.
try to catch a sunrise, so it's getting close. We got the
We got fishermen out already, and
Yeah.
we got ducks out already. Or actually, I think they're geese.
long
So-
necks and the geese. So try to get some footage of them too. So yeah, it's a beautiful morning. I think the truck said it was like 38, so it's a little cool, but it's still nice.
Yeah.
No breeze this morning, so we'll just sit here.
We're
and-
gonna do this, then we're gonna pack up, head toward home, but we're gonna make a stop on the
Yep,
way.
and we'll try to stop off at Lexington on the way. So
There was a big battle there in Lexington. We're gonna go. We have a book that's lists all the Missouri state parks and state historic sites, and we've been keeping record of where we've gone, at least for the past couple of years.
yeah.
So we're gonna write in it what Lexington is, because that's one of the state historic sites that we
Yeah, it's not a camping, no
No,
camping
there's
there,
no
but it's a
camping
state
there.
historic site.
but it's gonna be neat.
All right.
Well, we have left camp and we've traveled towards home, east,
Yep, the town of Lexington.
and there was some kind of a big battle here. We're not exactly sure what happened. We'll talk about it when we find out.
We know it was a Civil War battle.
Yeah, that's the only thing though. So,
Yep, all right. We'll go see if it's open. Haven't checked that out yet. Hopefully it is. So we'll try to give you some more details. Okay, here we are. The Battle of Lexington. September 18th, 19th, and 20th of 1861.
following victories in the southwestern Missouri, Major General Sterling Price and 10,000 men of the Missouri State Guard marched north with the objective of breaking federal line along the Missouri River. On September 12, 1861, the Guard engaged and drove the near Warrensburg into the fortifications at Lexington. The 3,600 Maine garrison, led by Colonel James A. Mulligan, was invested that day by the Guard, and the siege of Lexington commenced.
This is a twisted hemp hand. Hemp was a largely productive legal crop back then.
This battle was also known as the Battle of the Hemp Bales because they soaked hemp bales in water.
There's some hemp bales, aren't they?
Yep.
Wow.
The Confederate soldiers hid behind the hemp bales to protect them.
Here we are coming out of the visitor center to take our tour of the Anderson house. Here is a photo of William Oliver Anderson. Lived from 1794 to 1873. Built this prosperous business here in Lexington around hemp production and rope making in the 1850s. Prior to the Civil War, Anderson became one of the most prominent residents and businessmen in the community. He owned a local newspaper and rope factory and built this fine house in 1853.
Welcome to the Anderson House. My name's Paul Beal, and this is the Anderson House. The Anderson House obviously was built by Oliver Anderson, who's originally from Lexington, Kentucky, where he had a hemp and cotton plantation. Unfortunately, in 1847, with the death of his wife, he sold that operation. A couple of years later, he married a woman named Louisa Price. That last name will become important.
General Sterling Price, right?
There you go. And he followed two of his sons who had already migrated here to Lexington, Missouri. And Lexington at the time he came here, was the fifth largest city in Lexington, the fifth largest city in Missouri.
Really?
Oh yeah, it dwarfed Kansas City. Kansas City was just a little bitty port.
Really?
Very small.
Okay.
And so, well, when he got here, he commissioned this house in 1851, and the house was completed by 1853. It's one of my first tours. With this room.
It's not green though.
Well, the curtains.
Oh,
That's
okay.
what we call it. The bed, the mirror, and the armoire. This is the storage of clothing. All of these were a wedding gift from Tilton Davis to his bride. The headboard is 10 feet high and it's carved in a style called portrait.
So would they have their pictures in those?
No, it just is the style.
Oh.
Just a style.
Okay.
That is pretty neat.
We have some ladies' foundation garments on the bed laid out. Slip on, then a black belt, okay, then a corset. And at this particular time, husbands wanted to see their wives and their daughters. She says, well, it's not tight enough. And she just kept pulling it. And this is from that they would put a hoop skirt on. Now this is for a young adult girl, of course. Sure, you put your head in lower. Yeah. Raise your feet and then you're up. We don't know. When you're moving and you move like I moved.
So this was actually used as a field hospital, right?
When I would
For both
Yeah.
sides? Is that what you got the
Well, right
impression of?
before the battle, which is in September of
It was Confederate.
61, Anderson was for the South. He actually had, what they say, 40 slaves himself on this place. And he basically was run out by the Union forces. And they took the house and turned it into a hospital.
That's right. That's right.
And then during
there was
the
a battle actually done
Yeah.
in the house.
during the battle, the Confederate Army and the Missouri Brigade that was formed took it back, and it wasn't long after that where the Union forces came back in and took it back to the Union, and it stayed that way for the rest of the war. And what they say, the Andersons fled to Kentucky
And they never came
and never
back.
came back. Well, we just got done with the battleground
of Lexington.
tour. Yep.
Battle of Lexington. And just like at Watkins Mill, this is 2 tours for the price of one.
Yeah,
One is a little more informative than the other one.
The Anderson house.
Yeah, there's a
is
lot to see. It's a gorgeous house. Both tours are well worth the money.
And they're only $5 per person for both of them. Yes.
Now, the Anderson house was just kind of in the wrong place at the wrong time.
Yeah, because
The battle wasn't, they may have taken control of the house, but it was only because this was what size of city?
this is about the 5th largest city in the state of Missouri at the time.
It was bigger than Kansas City.
Of course, 1860. And it was a very large river port, because right out in front of the house, the bottom of the hill, of course, is the Missouri River. And it was a very big port. They said 30 to 40 riverboats a day came in and dropped off and picked up supplies and stuff heading up and down the river. So when Civil War broke out, Mulligan was sent here as a Union colonel to help keep possession of that port for the Union, because it was very important for transportation of goods and supplies for the forces. So yeah, the house was kind of in between that, and then right up kind of behind the not far from the house where they set up command and built a kind of a fortress. Of course, you can't go to Lexington without stopping by the county courthouse, because there's a cannonball in the side of this building that is very famous from the Battle of Lexington in 1861. So we're gonna go see if we can find it. I think it's up here in the front, so let's look at it. Oh, I think I see it. There it is. Of course, the sun's going to be right where I want to look. Battle of Lexington, September 18th, 19th, 20th, 1861. I'll get my camera out and see if I can get a better picture of it. Well, we hope you enjoyed.
Well, Lexington, Battle of Lexington. And as we said, the house, which was the best part of that, because, you know, a battlefield is just that, a field.
Yeah.
You kind of, in your mind's eye, get some idea what it was, but that house was phenomenal. And the best part about what you learned was about the black and white checker pattern on the floor.
Yeah.
What was that all about?
Well, I asked about that because it's interesting. I thought maybe it's just trying to make it look more modern and upgrade, you know, a house over the years as maybe a fake tile. But what I understand from when the tour guide was that was supposed to be a symbolic thing of the Masons of the era. So when people walked in, it's like, oh, this is somebody of importance, or we are like kind of a guy, of a man. He's a high importance, he's a Mason.
Because you know, the Masons have always been rather secretive up until
and they were
recently you didn't know anything about
But the checkered floor went back to, one, the Masonic temple has that checkered floor, and that came actually derived from King Solomon's temple over in is it England?
No, King Solomon was from Egypt, or Israel.
Okay.
So he was from
Well,
either
we'll pop it
somewhere
up.
in the Middle East.
If it's wrong, we'll pop it up on the screen. But that original one was from that, so that brought the importance over to the Masons. So that was kind of interesting part.
So their figure, now they don't know for sure, because like we said, they're pretty secretive. We think that the guy from Lexington, Mr. Anderson, who owned the house, was somehow a Mason, but we're not sure.
Yeah.
Now, what are we cooking?
Oh, we're using this cookbook that we bought.
That we bought at Watkins Mill State Historic
The
Site.
visitor center.
The cool thing about this cookbook is it's got all kinds of family recipes, dating some of them back as far back as the early 1700s.
Yeah, because this one here was over a couple. I don't know when they published this book, but it said it came back for. It came from the Watkins family over 200 years ago, and it was from Aldous Watkins family.
Who was the original owner of the Watkins Mill and the farm and all that.
He brought it with him from Kentucky, where he originally lived, where he kind of grew up.
Now, we have never, ever cooked this recipe.
Yeah.
So we're going to try it. I guess if it don't work out, we'll find something
yeah.
else. And we won't show this, but we're hoping it comes
We have
out.
no idea
The
what
name of it is the Watkins Woodford Pudding. It's supposed to have been a boiled pudding, but we're going to bake it because it tells us to do that.
Yeah, that was what it says, and it said it probably was originally a steamed or boiled pudding.
You know,
so.
most of the time we choose a 10-inch or 12-inch that we're going to use. This time we're using our little 8.
Yeah, because it doesn't say what size to put
No.
it in, so we're just kind of guessing, and we have no idea what it's supposed to be.
It won't do any more than boil over,
Yeah,
so we'll
so we're
see.
gonna try that. So I guess we'll regroup and get the rest of the ingredients out so we can get it started.
I think I'll mix up the pudding. You get to mix up the hard sauce. How's
Okay,
that?
and then probably bake it too. So okay.
Well, yeah, you'll bake it.
So
of
we'll step
course.
out, regroup with our ingredients, and then we'll be right back.
Well, I tell you, I don't know whether I'm hot or I'm cold. The wind's blowing and it's cool, but the sun's shining and I'm hot, so I don't know. All right, first thing we're gonna do, and you'll have to excuse me, I'm going by the recipe. Just so you know, I'm going by the recipe totally. I always do that with one thing. First thing we do is,
Well, since we had not made it before,
it calls for a teaspoon of cinnamon. I'm gonna mix it my dry ingredients just like I would a cake. It don't tell me to do that. Yeah, that's my teaspoon. But I'm gonna do it anyhow. Cinnamon. And then it calls for a little nutmeg, and that's it for the spices. You know, this doesn't even call for any salt. Wrong thing.
well, we're using salted butter.
Well, that's
so
true.
we're probably going to be okay.
Yeah. Oh, I love the smell of nutmeg. All right. And half a teaspoon of nutmeg. Okay, now I'm going to mix this stuff up. I think I got a bee in my hair. Hope not. Mix this up, make sure it's all incorporated. And that's with a half a cup of flour. Now, I don't know how this is going to turn out because, you know, that's not a whole lot of flour.
No, it's not.
Okay, now I'm going to set this over here. Now, I'm going to do just like I would for any kind of thing that calls for sugar and butter. I'm going to cream my room temperature butter.
Well, we creamed when we made that when we were
And a whole cup of sugar.
in Watkins Mill. We had to cream the butter and the sugar
For the
all
brown
together.
sugar spice cake. And we'll brown sugar spice cake. Say that 3 times in a row. Not be easy. We'll link that recipe down below. I'm going to cream all this together. Well, I don't want to cream too well. And then I'm going to crack an egg, and then I'll mix it up as I do each one of these. You know something we forgot, honey?
What's that?
No, the brandy's what's in the... Never mind.
That's in the hard sauce.
That is in the hard sauce. I thought it was
Reindeer
in this.
vanilla. I got pure vanilla out.
Did you? Okay. It might be good with both of them, but I don't know. We've never fixed this recipe, so we're fixing it just like the
no
recipe.
idea.
Nope. We're using room temperature eggs, room temperature butter. one more egg. And then I think I'm going to scrape the sides. Just to make sure I got all my butter in there. It's not stuck on the sides. Now, it says here, mix them thoroughly. You know, butter sometimes...
It's cake batter right now, doesn't it?
Yeah, it is. You know, butter sometimes sticks to the bottom of your bowl. Okay. Then it says dissolve. Now, this is weird. Yeah. We've got 3 tablespoons of buttermilk in here.
And it said soured milk, and we're using buttermilk.
Yeah, that's right.
And you can do sour your own milk with butter and vinegar, right?
Yes.
Like a teaspoon
and
of...
like I said, it calls for soured milk.
Yeah.
But
teaspoon of vinegar, I think, or something like that, or lemon juice.
We are going ahead. Now, it calls for just a half a teaspoon. That's a quarter. Wait a minute.
There it is.
You know what I didn't do? I only put half a teaspoon of cinnamon in there.
Oh, yeah, we got to have a full amount of cinnamon.
Glad I figured that out. It's always best to read your recipe a couple of times to make sure you get everything.
And then read it when you get done and you think you're done and make sure all your ingredients are in.
Before you put your wet and your dry ingredients together.
Good idea.
All right, now, like I said, this calls for half a teaspoon of baking powder. And we're coming to the end of our baking powder.
Sometimes we always do like this.
We're going to sift this to make sure, you see that? You don't want to eat that, but it's easy to get by with it. Just go like that.
Yeah, because if they don't get mixed in, that'll ruin the whole one good bite of a clump of baking soda.
Yes, it does.
Or baking powder.
Mix that up. And then it says you add your jam, which it calls for a half a cup of jam.
And we're using raspberry, correct?
Yes, we are. And this is with the seeds in. You can get raspberry jam without seeds.
Of course, Mrs. Watkins would have used home canned preserves.
Yes, she would. And we could have too. We've got some canned preserves in there. There's a quarter.
Can't do that.
Nope. Okay. Put that in there. We'll mix this up. Yeah, it does kind of look like cake batter. We don't even have the battering part in yet.
That flour.
Yeah.
So you mix the flour and spices all together, right? Now that's going in.
Oh, and I forgot the buttermilk. Kind of made it kind of frothy. Look at that. Wait, come in.
Well, yeah, because your buttermilk is activating your baking soda. Because baking soda has to have an activating.
And correct me if I'm wrong, but baking soda is older than baking powder, correct?
Yes.
Alright, now we're just going to mix this up. Now I'm going to definitely scrape the sides, because if you look, you'll see there's some flour down in there that's stuck. I'm about determined to dump that today. Gotta make sure it's all incorporated. Make sure you get the bottom too.
Yeah.
And then I'm gonna give it one more quick stir, and then we're ready to put it in the Dutch oven. That's it. That's all there is to it. Boy, it looks good and it smells good too. So, wait, can you hand me that cooking spray from over there?
Yes, I can.
As with anything that you're cooking that's sweet, which that most definitely is, I'm going to bring this over here. You have to spray.
Yeah, it said use
your
a grease.
Dutch oven.
And the trouble we're having is it's spread to use, it says, excuse me, to use a greased baking pan. And we have no idea
what size.
Yeah, it doesn't say what size, so we're guessing. about 3 cups worth of liquid
Yeah.
we got done here. So
Oops.
we're just gonna hope for the best with an 8-inch Dutch oven.
Well, I hope this is a good recipe. I've already marked it with the dough, with the batter.
Well, we're cooking out in the wind. All good cookbooks are gonna have spills from recipes.
That's where you tell if you're buying a used cookbook, if they thought that recipe was
Oh
good.
yeah,
or
that
not.
page is always covered.
A lot of times you have trouble reading it too. All right, that's it. Oh, come on.
I'll get the charcoal going.
All right, we'll put the lid on this. We got bees running around. Ooh, that tastes good. So we'll be back in a minute.
Okay, charcoal's ready.
Is it?
Yes.
Yep,
So,
sure is.
Now, we're doing an 8-inch Dutch oven. We don't do 8-inch Dutch oven very much. So, let me just dump them out here if I can see what's going on. There. And the recipe called for 350 degrees. So, we're going to do about 20 charcoal. And that should be,
About 8 on the bottom.
no, probably just 6. About a third, or just a little under a third. Haven't baked a whole lot with the 8-inch. Well, this 8-inch, but we have a little bit. Okay. Now, nice ring around the top.
Do you think you're gonna have to replenish this?
We don't know. That's the thing, because it said, what, 30 to 40 minutes, I believe?
Yes.
Okay, nice solid ring on top. And we'll put 3 in the middle, so. Okay. I think I'm gonna put, I got a little smaller, but I think I'm gonna put 1 more on the bottom. Seems like we got a lot on the top. So, well, it's on the bottom too. Okay, I'd rather not overcook the bottom. That's usually the problem. So we're gonna go ahead and leave it on top. Okay. So we're gonna assume that in about at least a 30-minute cook time, we're gonna do 10 minutes and rotate. But it's windy, of course, again today. So we're gonna put a wind guard on. Set up a timer for 10 minutes. And we'll be right back. 10 minutes. Okay, let me get the wind guard out of the way so you can see what's going on here. And we're just gonna do, it's been 10 minutes, we're gonna do a third of a turn one way, and then a third of a turn in the opposite direction. Well, tough run this little bitty oven.
Yeah, you're losing your briquettes there, aren't you?
Alright, lid back on, and then
Oops.
we're gonna change around here quick while this is finished cooking. And I'm gonna make the hard sauce, so we'll be right back with me making that.
Yep, we're gonna regroup.
Alright, now, making the hard sauce for this pudding. And let's see, we're going by the recipe. 1/4 cup or half a stick of butter. Room temperature. Doesn't say that, but if you're gonna cream it, it has to be. Okay. Now, it says to beat the butter to a cream. Alright, so I'm going to run this for a second, kind of get it started a little bit.
That looks about as creamy as you're gonna get.
Okay. Now, add the sugar. I'm going to do a half of it.
Yeah, because that powdered sugar, you're liable to be wearing it.
Might anyway, I hear this wind. We're going to add the rest of the cup. This is 1 cup powdered sugar total. Mix this until it's light, and then we're going to add 2 egg whites, 1 at a time, and beat until very light and fluffy. Okay, so we're going to get this mixed up a little bit real good. Okay, stop there a minute. Now, one tricky thing on egg whites, if you want to, because when you get done, it's supposed to be light and fluffy. So, to make egg whites light and fluffy, you definitely cannot have any egg yolks. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to crack the egg, and you have to take half of it open, and then I didn't do very good job cracking the egg.
It's all right.
You very carefully go from one side to the other and leave the, see there, I don't think there's any yolk in there. If you get any yolk, it won't
do
work.
right.
So we're going to want
Especially with like angel food cakes that you make from scratch.
Now I'm going to go ahead and separate it real quick. And I think I just got an egg. Okay, I think I got it. Okay, now, one at a time. Now, this is not cooked, so we're going to be sure to use pasteurized eggs. Getting thick now.
Hey, it kind of looks like icing now, doesn't
Yeah.
it?
Second one going in. Now, there's a little bit of residual on the sides.
A little bit of your powdered sugar didn't get mixed in, did it?
Now that. Okay, now do this again. Make it light and fluffy, so we're going to take a little bit of time to do that.
There.
Coming together, looking good.
It
All
really
right.
looks like icing now.
The last thing is 1 teaspoon of vanilla or brandy. We're going to use pure vanilla. It's about a teaspoon. Mix this in.
I have a feeling this is going to be a little bit like a cake.
The pudding.
Yes.
Yeah, probably will. Okay, so it says after we add our flavoring, which is our vanilla, we beat it again, and then it says heap up on a small dish and chill until hard. So I'll probably put it in something else here in a minute. So we'll do a couple more good mixes here before we finish.
It's easy.
Not bad.
The whole recipe's pretty easy.
All right.
Of course, it'd have to be cooking it on that wood stove in the Walter's house,
That's true.
or Watkins' house, rather.
All right. Yeah, look how it's come together there, Angel. I think we're good, aren't we?
Oh yeah, that looks like.
All right. All right. There we go. Well, that's still got a few minutes to cook. We'll go ahead and put this, take this in the house, get it in the fridge, and get it chilled down. We'll be back.
Boy, that didn't take very long, did it?
Nope.
It's time to rotate, and we just got the sauce done.
That's right. Been another 10 minutes. So, just rotate.
And this is the second rotate, isn't it, honey?
Yes, second rotate.
I'm gonna come in here a little closer, because he just turned the Dutch oven one direction. Now he's turning the lid the other.
Okay. And we're going to another 10 minutes, and then we'll probably check on it then. That'd be 30-minute cook time. So we'll see how it's doing then. We'll be back.
Well, honey,
It's been 30 minutes.
man, that smells
Let's see
good.
if it's done. I mean, the worst thing is we don't even know what it's supposed to look like or what kind of consistency it's supposed to have.
Well, it looks nice and brown.
It's browned.
It feels kind of pudding.
Should we go grab a toothpick and stick it in the middle? What do
No,
you
I think it's done. It's supposed to be pudding.
think? Yeah, does it feel like the center's
It feels
set,
like
doesn't
the
it?
center.
see,
Yeah, it is.
Okay.
So,
Well.
I think we're gonna let it set a minute, and then we'll try it and put some of our that we already snitched the stuff. Taste
That's
of
good stuff. The
our
hard sauce.
hard sauce.
Yeah.
That looks real tasty.
So
really
we'll
good.
try to let it cool a few minutes and then we'll serve it up.
Okay. Wait. Just stop a minute. Take a whiff. Oh
It smells
man,
kinda
that
like,
smells good.
It smells kind of like a plum pudding type
Yeah,
of thing.
it
that
does.
kind of an old English recipe.
I want to try it. We're gonna eat off the same spoon, right?
Yeah. So we lined it because we didn't know whether. I think we're just gonna, like Angel said, we're just gonna cut out a chunk here. What do you think?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Well, it's kind of like a. Yeah, it is. It's kind of a cross between a cake and a pudding, isn't it?
And we gotta have The hard sauce wasn't chilled too long, but that's okay. It'll be all right. Good. My turn.
Oh yeah.
We still got it pretty hot, so we wanted this to kind of start melting down,
Yes.
running down the hard sauce.
That's different, isn't it? It's good though. Mr. Waltis, if you were still alive.
Mr. Watkins.
Oh wait, Waltis, Mr. Waltis Watkins.
That family recipe's pretty
Yes,
darn
it's
tasty.
pretty hard to beat. So, well, that about does it for this weekend getaway. We hope you liked our trip to Watkins Mill State Park and State Historic Site and Lexington State Historic Site. We are planning another trip here very shortly. We're going to boondocking.
Yep, it's going to get some boondocking in before it gets too hot.
Yeah, we don't boondock when it's hot.
No.
So if you like this video, please give us a thumbs up, which is a like. Share us on Facebook or Instagram. If you've got any weird or brand new recipes that you've never tried, try it and tell us how it is. Give us a comment.
Like this is a keeper.
And we'll thank you for watching, and we'll see you next time.
Thank you.